Have you ever found yourself lying awake at 3 a.m., surrounded by the quiet darkness, wondering why sleep seems to slip away just when you need it most? That moment when your eyes are wide open, your mind feels blank, and you're left asking what your body might be trying to tell you. It's more familiar than you might think. You're not alone. Millions of seniors across America wake up at that same mysterious hour. And today, here at Life Wisdom, we're diving into 5 powerful reasons why this happens and what it really means for your health and sleep. Stick with us to uncover these insights and let us know in the comments where you're watching from. New York, Arizona, or somewhere else entirely. Waking up at 3 a.m. isn't just a random annoyance or a simple sign of getting older. It's your body and mind sending you messages worth listening to, subtle signals about your health and well-being. Today, we're going to peel back the layers and explore 5 deep reasons why so many seniors find themselves awake at that hour, from natural shifts inside your body to quiet influences in your daily life. These aren't just quick answers. They're rooted in real science, lived experience, and a genuine understanding of the changes you're navigating. You'll discover how hormones play a role, how sleep rhythms adjust, what your health might be whispering, how habits shape your nights, and even what your emotions might be saying in the stillness. At Life Wisdom, we believe knowledge is power. So let's dive in together and turn those restless nights into a chance to care for yourself better. Let's kick things off with the first reason so many seniors find themselves awake at 3 a.m. It's all about a quiet little hormone called melatonin, the unsung hero of your sleep. Think of melatonin as your body's built-in sleep coach, gently guiding you into rest and keeping you there through the night. When you were younger, say in your 30s or 40s, your brain was like a melatonin factory, pumping out a steady stream of this magic stuff every evening, ensuring you sailed through hours of deep, uninterrupted slumber. But as the years pile on, especially after you cross that 50-year mark, that factory starts to slow down. It's not shutting down entirely, mind you, it's just producing less, and that subtle drop can make a big difference in how long you stay asleep. Here's how it plays out. You might drift off effortlessly at 10 p.m. after a cozy night. Maybe you've watched a favorite show or sipped some herbal tea, but by 2 or 3 a.m., sometimes even nudging toward 4, that melatonin level dips just enough to let your brain slip out of sleep mode. It's not dramatic. No barking dogs or wild nightmares jolting you awake. Instead, it's a quiet shift, almost like your mind decides it's time to peek at the world again, leaving you lying there, wondering why rest feels so elusive. What makes this even more intriguing is how sensitive your body gets to outside influences as you age. That sliver of streetlight sneaking through your blinds, the faint glow of a digital clock on your nightstand, even a soft beam from under the bedroom door. These tiny intruders can suppress melatonin further, acting like little sleep thieves in the night. And it's not just light. Your natural rhythms are more fragile now, so anything from a restless pet to a slightly warm room can tip the scales. Let's meet Jane, a 69-year-old from Ohio who knows this all too well. For years, she prided herself on sleeping like a log, but lately she's been waking up at 3:15 a.m. almost like clockwork. At first, she thought it was stress or maybe too much coffee, but she wasn't anxious, just oddly alert, as if her day was ready to start. Then, she stumbled across this idea of melatonin slowing down with age, and it clicked. She decided to experiment. She swapped her flimsy curtains for thick blackout ones, stopped scrolling through her phone an hour before bed, and added a short evening walk to her routine. Not a marathon. Just 15 minutes around the block to catch some daylight earlier in the day. She even started winding down with a cup of chamomile tea instead of late-night news. It wasn't a miracle cure right away. Some nights she still woke up, but over a few weeks she noticed she was sleeping past that 3 a.m. hurdle more often. Even better, when she did wake up, she stopped feeling frustrated with herself. She realized this wasn't her fault. It was just her body's chemistry shifting with time. That's the key takeaway here. This isn't about failure or something you're doing wrong. It's a natural part of aging. And the good news is you've got options to nudge things back in your favor. A darker bedroom can work wonders. Think heavy curtains or even a sleep mask if you're feeling adventurous. Cutting back on screens before bed helps too. Those blue lights are sneaky melatonin blockers. And if you're up for it, a little evening ritual, like a calm walk or a warm drink, can reinforce that sleep signal to your brain. At Life Wisdom, we see this as more than just a challenge. It's an invitation to tune into what your body's telling you and give it a little extra care. So, if you're one of those 3 a.m. risers, don't beat yourself up over it. See it as a gentle hint to tweak your night smarter, and you might just find yourself resting deeper than you thought possible. Now that we've explored how melatonin can fade with age, let's move to the second reason so many seniors wake up at 3 a.m. Your internal sleep clock starts ticking on a different schedule, a shift we call advanced sleep phase. Imagine your body as a finely tuned clock, set for years to hum along with late nights and lazy mornings. But as you age, especially past your 50s or 60s, that clock begins to wind forward all on its own. Suddenly, you're feeling drowsy by 8 or 9 p.m., way earlier than you used to, and by 3 a.m., your body's already decided it's had enough rest, even if the world outside is still wrapped in darkness. It's not just a quirky habit, it's biology at work. When you were younger, your sleep rhythms synced up with longer days, maybe staying up for a late movie or a chat with friends. But now that rhythm nudges you toward an earlier bedtime, and once you're asleep by, say, 9 p.m., your full sleep cycle, about 6 or 7 hours, wraps up right around that 3 a.m. mark. You wake up, not groggy or upset, but alert, almost like your body's saying, "I'm done for the night." What's really interesting is how life changes amplify this shift. Retirement often means fewer morning alarms or hectic schedules, so your clock doesn't have to fight to keep you up late anymore. Add in quieter evenings, maybe no kids running around or late-night errands, and your body takes the hint to wind down sooner. Even the lack of bright daylight in your routine can play a role, signaling your brain to start the sleep process earlier than you'd like. Take Tom, a 71-year-old from Florida, as an example. He used to love staying up for late-night crime shows, but these days, he's nodding off in his recliner by 9 p.m., sometimes even before the mystery's solved. Sure enough, by 3 a.m., he's wide awake, staring at the ceiling, wondering why he can't sleep in like he used to. At first, he worried it was insomnia creeping in, but then he learned about this advanced sleep phase idea, and it all made sense. He didn't want to fight it, so he tweaked things a bit. He started staying up a little later with a good book under a warm lamp, not a glaring screen, took a gentle walk around his garden after dinner to stretch out his day, and made a point to call his daughter for a quick catch-up a few nights a week. These small changes didn't overhaul his life, but they nudged his sleep window forward. Now he's more likely to wake closer to 5 a.m., and he feels in tune with his days again. Here's the thing. This shift isn't a flaw or something to dread. It's just your body settling into a new rhythm, one that's shaped by years of living and changing. You don't have to let it run the show, though. A little more activity in the evening, like that walk Tom took, or some soft social time can gently stretch your wakefulness, keeping that 3 a.m. wake-up at bay a bit longer. Even soaking in some morning sunlight can help reset that clock, telling your brain the day's still young. At Life Wisdom, we see this as a natural part of your journey, not a battle to fight. If you're waking up before the birds, don't curse the dawn. Think of it as your body inviting you to adjust your routine with care so your nights and days feel more in harmony. Let's keep going. What else might be stirring you awake? Stay with us. We've talked about melatonin and your shifting sleep clock, but sometimes the reason you're waking up at 3 a.m. is a little more physical. Your body might be sending subtle signals through discomfort or health needs that only surface in the quiet of the night. As seniors, our bodies become more sensitive to aches and interruptions that didn't bother us much in our younger years. Maybe it's a stiff joint from arthritis that feels fine when you first drift off, but starts to nag after hours of lying still. Or perhaps it's a full bladder urging you to get up, something that's tougher to ignore now than it was a decade ago. These aren't loud alarms shouting for attention. They're soft nudges that can pull you out of deep sleep just enough to leave you awake and wondering. What's happening here is that aging brings a higher chance of chronic conditions or small health changes that don't always show up during the day when you're busy and distracted. Take acid reflux, for instance. If you ate dinner a bit late or reclined too soon after, that burning sensation can creep in around 3 a.m., stirring you awake. Even medications, which many of us rely on for things like blood pressure or pain relief, can play a role. Some cause nighttime bathroom trips, others might make you more sensitive to room temperature or even a faint noise, quietly disrupting your rest without you connecting the dots right away. Let's look at Margaret, a 73-year-old from Colorado who's felt this firsthand. She used to sleep soundly, but over the past year she kept waking up around 3:30 a.m., often with a vague sense of unease, sometimes a sore back, other times a need to visit the bathroom. At first, she chalked it up to just getting older, but it started to wear on her. So she talked to her doctor and discovered one of her medications was increasing her nighttime urges to urinate, and her old mattress wasn't helping her achy joints either. She didn't overhaul everything. She made small, thoughtful changes. She worked with her doctor to adjust the timing of her medication, swapped her dinner routine to eat a little earlier and lighter, and added a supportive pillow to ease her back. She also started keeping a simple sleep journal to notice patterns, which helped her feel more in control. Over time, those 3 a.m. wake-ups became less frequent, and when they did happen, she found it easier to settle back into sleep. The beauty of this is that these physical wake-ups aren't signs your body's giving up. They're proof it's still working hard, alerting you to what it needs. It's like a gentle tap on the shoulder, asking you to pay attention. You don't have to overhaul your life to respond. A small tweak, like adjusting when you take your pills or trying a new sleeping position, can make a big difference. Maybe check in with your doctor about any medications that might be stirring you awake, or experiment with a light stretch before bed to loosen those joints. At Life Wisdom, we believe these moments are opportunities to listen closely to your body's signals and care for it with kindness. If you're waking up to a twinge or a trip to the bathroom, don't see it as a nuisance. Think of it as your body's way of guiding you toward better rest and health. Ready for what's next? Let's keep exploring what might be behind those early mornings. We've covered how your body's inner workings can wake you at 3 a.m., but now let's shift gears to something a little more in your control. The fourth reason seniors often find themselves up at that hour: the way your daily habits quietly reshape your sleep rhythm. Think of your body as a creature of habit. It thrives on patterns, little cues that tell it when to wind down and when to rise. When you were younger, your days were likely packed with activity. Work deadlines, family chaos, maybe a late-night hobby that kept your sleep cycle humming along later into the evening. But as life slows down, especially after retirement or as routines soften with age, those patterns shift in ways you might not even notice. Maybe you're eating dinner at 5 p.m. now instead of 7, winding down with a book or TV by 8, and heading to bed by 9, earlier than you ever did before. That sounds cozy, right? But here's the catch: when you fall asleep that early, your body might finish its full sleep cycle, 6 or 7 hours, right around 3 a.m., leaving you awake while the world's still fast asleep. It's not just about bedtime either. Less physical activity during the day, like fewer errands or long walks, can mean your body doesn't need as much time to recharge, so it's ready to wake sooner. Quieter evenings without the buzz of a busy household can signal your brain to start producing melatonin earlier, pulling you towards sleep before you're ready. Even something as simple as skipping that afternoon coffee or tea because you're cutting back on caffeine might leave your energy dipping sooner, nudging your whole rhythm forward. Let's meet Ruth, a 70-year-old from Oregon who's lived this shift. After retiring, her days got quieter. No more rushing to meetings or chasing grandkids all afternoon. She started eating dinner at 5 p.m., settling into her favorite chair with the evening news, and drifting off by 9 p.m. most nights. Sure enough, by 3 a.m. she was awake. Not tired, not stressed, just fully alert, puzzled by why her nights felt so short. She didn't want to overhaul her life, but she wondered if her routine was part of the puzzle. So she tried a few gentle changes. She added a 20-minute walk in the afternoon. Not a marathon, just enough to get her blood flowing and soak in some daylight. She swapped her early news watching for a little light reading, something engaging but not too stimulating, and made a rule to avoid napping after 3 p.m., even when that comfy couch called her name. Over a couple of weeks, she noticed her bedtime creeping closer to 10 p.m., and those 3 a.m. wake-ups started sliding toward 4 or even 5 a.m. She felt more in sync with her days, less like she was racing the sunrise. The truth is, your habits are powerful. They're like the hands gently turning the dials on your sleep clock. When they shift, your rhythm follows, and that's not a bad thing. It's just a sign of life evolving. You don't need to reinvent your days to adjust this. Small tweaks can guide your body back to a pace that suits you. Try a short burst of activity in the afternoon, maybe a stroll or some gardening, to keep your energy up a bit longer. Push your evening wind down a little later with something calming, like a puzzle or a chat with a friend. And if you can, step outside in the morning light. It's like a reset button for your internal clock. At Life Wisdom, we see this as a chance to take the reins and shape your nights with intention. If you're waking up too early, don't blame the stars. Look at your day and see where a little care can stretch your rest further. Curious about the final piece of this puzzle? Let's dive into it next. We've dug into the physical and habitual reasons behind those 3 a.m. wake-ups. But now let's turn to something deeper. The fifth reason seniors often find themselves stirring in the night: a quiet restlessness in your mind and emotions. Sometimes, it's not your body waking you up at all. It's your heart or your thoughts whispering in the stillness when everything else fades away. As we age, life tends to slow down, and with that comes more space for reflection. The busy years of raising kids, chasing careers, or juggling a packed schedule might be behind you. And in their place, the quiet hours of the night become a stage where memories, worries, or unspoken feelings step into the spotlight. You might lie there at 3 a.m., not jolted by pain or noise, but gently pulled awake by a memory of an old friend, a fleeting regret about something left unsaid, or even a soft ache of missing someone who's no longer near. This isn't the sharp anxiety of youth. It's subtler, like a low hum in the background. A sense that something inside needs your attention, even if you can't quite put your finger on it. What's fascinating is how this ties to the changes in your life as a senior. Maybe your social circle has shrunk over time. Kids have moved away, friends have their own lives, or loved ones have passed on. And while the days might be filled with routine or small joys, the night brings a stillness that highlights what's missing. It's not always heavy loneliness. Sometimes it's just a longing for connection. A faint wish to share a laugh or a story with someone when the house is hushed. Your mind, free from daytime distractions, reaches back to sift through the years, moments of joy, losses endured, or questions you never had time to ask. Let's meet Edith, a 78-year-old from Virginia who's felt this in her own way. By day, she keeps busy, tending her flower garden, chatting with neighbors, watching her favorite cooking shows. But at 3 a.m., she often wakes with her thoughts drifting to her late husband or the kids she doesn't see as often anymore. At first, she thought her sleep was broken, but then she realized it wasn't about rest. It was her heart asking for a moment to breathe. She didn't fight it. Instead, she started keeping a little notebook by her bed, jotting down whatever came to mind when she woke, a memory, a gratitude, or just a few honest words. She also added a nighttime ritual. A cup of herbal tea and a few minutes of soft music to ease into sleep, plus a weekly call to her grandkids to bridge that distance. Over time, those wake-ups didn't vanish, but they felt less like interruptions and more like quiet visits from her own soul, and she'd often drift back to sleep with a sense of peace. Here's the thing, this emotional restlessness isn't a flaw to fix. It's a sign of the depth you carry after a lifetime of experiences. Your heart doesn't punch a clock. It remembers what it wants, feels what it needs, and sometimes chooses 3 a.m. to speak up. You don't have to push it away. A simple act, like Edith's journaling, can give those thoughts a place to land, softening their grip. Or try a gentle evening wind down, maybe a warm drink, a prayer, or a call to someone you love to settle your mind before bed. At Life Wisdom, we see this as a beautiful part of aging, a chance to honor what you've lived through and find comfort in the quiet. If you're waking up with a wandering mind, don't fear it. Embrace it as a whisper from within, guiding you toward a little more grace for yourself. We've got one last stop ahead. Let's wrap this up together. As we come to the end of this journey, take a moment to reflect on what we've uncovered together. 5 powerful reasons why so many seniors wake up at 3 a.m., from melatonin winding down and sleep rhythms shifting, to your body's gentle signals, habits reshaping your nights, and the quiet whispers of your heart. Each one tells a story, not of something broken, but of a body and mind still alive, still adapting, still speaking to you in those soft hours before dawn. Think of Henry, a 67-year-old from Texas who used to dread those early wake-ups, tossing and turning in frustration. But after understanding these reasons, he started seeing them differently, as little messages to listen closer, to tweak his routine with care, whether it was a darker room or a moment to jot down a thought. Now he wakes with a sense of calm, even gratitude, for the life he's still living. At Life Wisdom, we believe every 3 a.m. moment is a chance, not to fight or fix, but to embrace what your body and soul are telling you, to care for yourself with kindness and intention. You're not alone in this. Millions of seniors are right there with you, searching for rest and meaning in their own way. So here's our invitation. Try one small step from what you've learned today. Maybe a new evening ritual, a chat with your doctor, or just a gentler view of those wakeful nights. And let us know how it goes. Drop a comment below with one thing that struck you, one change you'll make, or just where you're watching from. We'd love to hear your voice. Your stories fuel us to keep bringing you insights like this. If this resonated with you, give it a like, hit that subscribe button, and share it with someone who might need it too. Thank you for joining us at Life Wisdom. Here's to better rest, stronger health, and a deeper connection to yourself. We'll see you in the next one.